Welcome back to the Xuan character reviews. Our next character is Shirley. Let's start with Shirley. Shirley looked at first like one of the weirdest characters in the game. By looking at her initial picture, I couldn't decide what she was. An agent, a scientist, a secretary, an assault soldier, a nun? She ended up being a little everything of that. Shirley is supposed to be the treasurer of Xuan, a religious sect, to the one Bryzel belongs to, that performs scientific investigations. She also enters the tournament as a supervising agent of the things that take place. So, yeah. On top of it, she is an EVA hybrid, with the power to control the winds. She uses it to create very cool looking tornadoes, and even goes to generate thunder and lightning when she overcharges. Her fighting style is pretty airy, as you might guess. Shirley's design looks like a mishmash of many other female characters, including Sea Viper from Street Fighter 4, Kami from Street Fighter 2, and Leona, Mature, and Goenitz from the King of Fighters 96. Whoa. There's not much I could say about that, only that, indeed, she looks like a Mugen combination of everyone. Even her name sounds a lot like Shermie from KOF 97, and her fighting style sort of reminds me of B. Janet from Garou Mark of the Wolves, along with Gainitz. The design is, I guess, flawed because of everything combined into one. I mean, she's supposed to be a nun or something like that, with the bare legs and the belly cleavage. How is that long skirt helping her to fight? Needle glasses or... I don't know, it just confuses me. And in this particular case, I think it's slightly off balance. Not even the change of the color palette could help to avoid it. Still, got to admit that yellow rubber belt on her hips and the yellow bands on her boots sorts of help to bridge the two halves of her design. But now with her fighting style, what can I say about it? She capitalizes with Gainitz and Storm's Mind Hurricane Pillars. But there's a lot of characters with similar skills. Her gameplay is completed with a windy Shoryuken that reminds me too much of Mature. A Rekka that is actually interesting and useful because you can mix up getting behind or on front the opponent and ends with a launcher. And finally, a short-ranged wind wave that is more useful than what it looks, as it can pull the opponent towards you to reset a combo. What's my verdict? She is actually very good, even more effective than Gainitz. Shirley's super moves involve a Rambo with a pretty cool looking effect in the end, and turning into a hurricane, not unlike Choi from KOF but a little easier to use and more useful. It actually lasts for too little time unless you use it in the max version. Shirley's model is very well done and looks great in the game. Her animations are fluid and elegant. I like this little detail, for example, because every different version of her Hurricane summon has a slightly different pose and animation. The wind special effects look very cool and detailed, and her gameplay is very smooth and responsive, so you can't complain of her having a clunky control or poorly defined hitboxes and recoveries. Just very well toned and crafted. Shirley can be really powerful, but as you may guess, you have to be really careful when controlling her, as her tornadoes might be surprising, but also have very considerable recovery time. And her Rekka C version demands you to change the input once you cross-stroke the opponent, so you can end up performing moves you didn't want that render you defenseless. So you will need a little practice to use her safely. But it's worth it. For the last, Shirley has a couple of gimmicks, the first one being this tiny Bible she carries with her every time. It's taken from Gainitz, I don't know. Maybe Gainitz is the author of that book and she's such a fan she imitates him in everything? I don't know. The other one has to do with Shirley's liking for stripping. as you can see in her hidden super. Everywhere you'll see people having fun with that weird technique, and yes, it's pretty hilarious, and it succeeded on making the character a little more interesting and memorable, even if it was in a tongue-in-cheek manner. Now she has an alternate costume, a rather hot policewoman slash dominatrix outfit called Polyamorous Woman Shirley. Oh, excuse me, I meant Glamorous Policewoman Shirley. It features stiletto heels, tight leather pants, a sexy bodice with a jacket, and the signature cap and glasses, along with a couple more gimmicks. I like how she looks with a long pink ponytail and the bangs. In-game, the model is extremely detailed with really outstanding and impressive textures, and tons of little details for you to appreciate, none of which seem excessive but rich, luxuriant, and perfectly crafted. It is easily one of the best looking alternate outfits, and models in general in the whole game. It sort of fits her character, no matter if it has nothing to do with the main costume, and looks fine in game. As for Shirley's personality, someone could expect a more magnificent behavior coming from a self-appointed apostle, like Gainit's exhibits, but she is simply not the case. She is bloodthirsty, she is a ruthless zealot and a crazy bitch, again, not unlike mature and wise from KOF, the ones she is clearly modeled after. But I agree there's some things you can enjoy about. Her voice actress is insanely fine and sharp, and fits nicely to the character's animations. In the surface, Shirley's story might be one of fanaticism, but according to her background, she was for much time a person who had lost her way in life. And then the Shine leader came and gave her a second chance to work on his organization. And that's the reason why she has vowed to serve Shine and protect its leader with her own life. So while to our eyes Shirley is a zealot, she actually sees her mission on the light of her own redemption, like a salvation story. And she loves her saber, of course. It's a cool and somewhat touching motivation for a considered evil character. And of course, it makes you empathize with her at least a little. In the end, I can say I'm not a fan of her design, but I heard there are a lot of people who likes her. Her gameplay is very good and effective, she is actually one of my mains, and her personality is entertaining enough to make you like her. Well, thanks to her limited but very powerful fighting style, Shirley is a very effective character in the game. And also because of her particular game style, based on Hurricane Zoning plus some extra cool stuff, you can be sure she is one of a kind, and a very valuable member of the cast. So see you next time in the next Rando Xuan character review. Thanks for watching.
KO! Winner! 罪恶，接受洗礼吧。